hello, and welcome to number 257 of the Whatnauts Captain's Log, where every week we thirst for the taste of legend. Our cameras are off right now because it's our Halloween episode. Yes, we are about to do a costume reveal for our annual Halloween episode. We always like to make up some fun stories, but we've been dressing up the past 2 years. I guess last year we both dressed up. Well, we've kind of always been, right?
It was originally wear what you have that's vaguely Halloween-y. Your Jughead outfit made several appearances. Last year I issued the challenge for us to dress up as Captain's Log specific topics.
Yes.
And we're continuing that again this year.
Indeed. So I say we do our costume reveal here. I need to make sure my triggers, my fingers on the button. I know where the turn camera button on is, because I cannot wait to see what Melissa is dressed up as. So here we go. I'll do a countdown from 3 and say go, and then Melissa and I can turn our cameras on at the same time. 3, 2, 1, go. Come on, kids.
Look at us.
Amazing.
Food and beverage.
My name is Kyle Springer. I am one of your hosts. I am joined by Melissa Wilkinson. Melissa, you are grapes, so you can take a nap.
I'm not just any grapes, Kyle. I'm $1 million grapes.
Oh, wow. $1 million.
You remember that soda?
Grapes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I am a single hot dog.
One hot dog. I love those glasses. Those are incredible.
Yes. I have a white bucket hat with hot dogs that are printed all over it. I have some sunglasses that has like a single hot dog like right along the eyebrows that has a little mustard line. And then I'm in some little dumb hot dog costume. Which
what
the arms only let me go up to that bit.
Oh my gosh.
Like it's stitched like all the way down here and not up where the armhole should be. So I'm like stuck like doing this little side thing. Oh, it's wild.
I love these glasses because the lenses are so dark. I truly cannot see your eyes.
Yeah, they're fantastic. Like they actually are sunglasses, not some like cheap thing that you can get.
Right,
like,
real lenses.
I guess it's a shade darker. I don't know. Yeah.
I am wearing the Grape's hat, head cushion, head enclosure that I found on Amazon here on the podcast a couple weeks ago. Gotta tell you, exactly as promised. This is what I thought I was buying. It's perfect. It's so big and floofy and soft. I believe the woman in the photo that you can put your head down on your desk and take a nap in the Grapes hat.
So is that actually like fluffed out, or is it hollow on the inside?
No, it's filled with fluff like a pillow.
Huh. Okay. Interesting. Because, this thing is just a hollow hot dog.
Of course it's hollow. Otherwise, where would they put you?
Right? Yeah. This is fun. This is good. I'm glad that we both ended up with food related stuff.
Like you said, food and beverage.
Food and beverage, indeed. Oh, man. Well, we have a tradition that we like to do here every Halloween episode on the podcast.
This is our 5th year.
Wow. 5 years in a row doing this. That's wild. It's a blast. This is always one of my favorites that we do. But we'll get to that in just a bit here. Melissa, how are you? How's your week been?
I'm doing Grape. just Grape.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
I went to Six Flags this past weekend. I mentioned that to you.
Yeah.
It was Six Flags Fright Fest. So there's spooky lights. Worth going for the spooky lights alone. Getting up to the top of a Ferris wheel and looking down, and it's all like fog, and everything's like green and purple and scary red.
There you go.
And they're playing all the classic Halloween hits, including Bring Me to Life by Evanescence, which gets in there under the goth kid category. And my roommate and I ride on this real intense wooden roller coaster. You're up so high, there's twists and turns and banks and twirls. It's real intense. And then after the ride is over, as we are finally slowing down, pulling back into the station, some guy in the back of the train goes, "Wake me up!"
Yes. Did you?
Which I think should... That's what it did. I think you should shout that next time at the top of the roller coaster. As you're about to go down the hill. Can't wake up.
Goth kid activated.
I'm a goth kid, but I also love roller coasters. What can I do?
Oh man, that's fun. I'm not much of a theme park person because I don't like roller coasters.
Yeah, Six Flags are pretty thin on dark rides or any real theming.
Yeah, like I can go and I can still have fun, but I get that oftentimes like the whole part or like the whole point is kind of to go for the roller coasters and stuff like that. So I'm just like, yeah, you guys go. I'll be sitting here with my extra large soda or hot dog. Yeah, who knows what. But yeah, I'm not much of a theme park person, though. There is someone that I follow on social media because they used to be on a podcast that I listened to that just wrote a novel that is a like theme park horror mystery that I think I'll have to get the link and send you because I think you'd be interested in.
I love those things
in that book. Yeah. I think he was trying to write a theme park related book that was much more factual and stuff like that. And he was like, as much as I love this research, putting like mixing in fiction with this is like, what can I get away with that's realistic to like these parks and stuff like that. And he knows that there would have been people out there correcting him if he like changed something. Mm-hmm. So he was like, let me just make up my own park and we'll have like a horror mystery. And I think someone dies in the park and then realizes that the ghosts of everyone else who died at the park like are also still there, and so they have to like solve some mystery together.
I love this
ghosts. So yeah, good stuff. I know you also went to go see Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yes,
talked about that a little bit over on the review show as we were catching up. What'd you think of that?
I had a great time. It really didn't feel like it was 3 hours and 27 minutes long.
Yeah. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, well-rounded. The fact I shared with you over on the review show is that owl, that beautiful scene-stealing omen of death owl, is a local St. Louis owl.
There you go.
She's our new celebrity.
Another owl fact that this was his first movie, and he beat out 4 other owls to get the job, and that even DiCaprio would take a break from whatever he was doing to watch the scenes that the owl was in. So as they were filming, they're like, let me watch this owl. How cool is that?
Right?
Yeah.
She's got star power. Her name's Ely.
Aw, Ely the owl. That's fun. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I went to go see Killers of the Flower Moon as well. I really enjoyed it. It's a long one, but I was on the edge of my seat the entire time. I thought it was fantastic. I don't want to say it's slow because it is paced really, really well. You always get something new. It's always moving. The only thing I wish it did better was clue me in on how fast time is moving.
Yes, it's one of those movies where suddenly there are children.
Right.
When did you have children?
Time is moving, and I can get the sense like it's moving fast, but I don't know how fast is fast, if that makes sense. And then like halfway in the film, you get the like, oh, one of the characters is pregnant, and then 2 minutes after that, the baby's already like 1 year old, and so it's just like, whoa, wait, what?
I feel like I've seen that in other Scorsese movies that are mostly about crime, but also the guy does have a family. And as you're following through his skeins, suddenly there's like a 4-year-old where there was not before.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, highly recommend it. Go check it out. Did not know it was filmed here in Oklahoma. Where I am.
Yes.
It probably was just wrapping up maybe when I moved here.
Wow.
I'm not sure how long they spent on post-production.
You should check out your local, I believe it's called the Museum of First Americans there in Oklahoma City. I listened to an interview with the costume designer for the movie. I believe she's done work with that museum. You can probably go and learn something. They probably have some exhibit or poster board about the local filming of Killers of the Flower Moon.
What's interesting is my partner who grew up both here and in Texas, like this was in their school like history education because it's like it happened here in Oklahoma. But me growing up in Virginia, I had never heard of this, did not know it was a thing. That I had to be like, wait, so then when you guys did like the colonies and all that stuff, did you guys learn about Roanoke and like what happened like with all of that? She was like, oh yeah. I was like, okay, because that's about all I can think of for Virginia besides tobacco.
You got 2 Roanoke units. They're like, we're going extra hard on this. These kids are going to solve the mystery. I believe in them.
Still don't know what happened. Right?
Killers of the Flower Moon sounds like it's a horror movie, but it is not. I'm anxious to get down to our Halloween antics.
Yes. Yeah. Let's get into our horror stuff here. So enter McRib Sterling.
I got it this year.
Oh yeah, the French fry.
Great, I got McDonald's fries to pretend to smoke, like we say we're going to do every year.
Amazing.
For the unfamiliar, McRib Sterling is our McDonald's themed avatar of terror and deceit who arrives in a mech suit, a Mick suit. Yep. He looks like a giant black and white Ronald McDonald. The front of the Mick suit opens up and there's a Danny DeVito in there and he smokes a French fry and he's like, let me tell you a story. And his name is McRib Sterling and he will present to us these Twilight Zone style retellings of past Captain's Log anecdotes as haunting tales for you tonight.
Absolutely. I'm excited. So how many do you have? I don't remember how many we did last year. I think it was a total of 10 looking back on our like timestamps.
I wrote down a lot of hooks, but I couldn't develop full stories out of them. So I think I've got a firm 5 or soft 6.
Okay. Yeah. I have 9 written down.
Hey.
But it's like some of these actual bangers, some not so much. It was the start of an idea, right? Of like,
right. We had a lot of these.
Something here. So we'll just do as much as we can, I say. But yeah. So I have 9. How many did you have written?
5 or 6. So if you've got more, how about you start us off?
Okay, that's what I was about to suggest as well. So yeah, from the Captain's Log, episode 212, entitled Proud Neighbor of a Kevin McAllister. Our title, A Kevin McAllister, implies that there are more than one Kevin McAllister out there.
This is a genre of kid. There could be more. This could be a class of child.
Yeah. In fact, maybe they cloned Kevin McAllister.
Who's
and they're cloning him. And they're who knows? It is the mysterious shady government organization, right? Mad scientist hired by the government to clone Kevin McAllister, and something went wrong. They can't stop. Too many Kevin McAllisters. It's an infestation of Kevin McAllisters.
Too many Culkins. Help!
Imagine the group. We are back. See? Weird technical difficulties as soon as I mentioned a shady government organization cloning Kevin McAllister. We had something like this happen last year too, right? Didn't we? That
I don't remember.
Something weird happened that our computer spazzed out or something. I don't know. But I think everything should be back on. But I imagine
of
Kevin McAllister,
a mad scientist going to his shady government bosses saying, I've found the ultimate weapon. We can make more of him. We can clone Kevin McAllister. And they're like, great idea. You mean actor Macaulay Culkin, right? And he's like, no. I don't know what that kid knows. We need Kevin McAllister. How do we make more of him? And they're like, gee, I don't know how we clone a fictional character. I'll call the estate of John Hughes. Get Chris Columbus on the phone.
Right. I just imagine like a Gremlins style infestation, that there's just too many of them. They're all
also by Chris Columbus. Perfect. Right. He just needs to gremlinify every one of his subsequent movies. There's just a bunch of little Ron Weasley scampering around.
Exactly.
Everybody from Rent. Too many Warreens.
So yeah, this how do you get rid of a Kevin McAllister? You kind of can't get, because he will defend his.
You're
his
right.
House.
You're
you
right.
Get rid of him.
You just have to put him in a white room, a room with nothing, no supplies.
Right, or get his family back. Call up Liam Neeson to go get his family.
No, you got it. You got to see if you can get other McAllisters. Get Buzz in there. What can Buzz do if you try to make him your ultimate weapon?
Right. Yeah. More spiders in his room somehow.
His ideas are all spiders. He's like John Peters.
So that was my first story, an infestation of Kevins.
Oh my gosh, they're tearing your whole house apart like termites. What if termites were like a bunch of 8-year-old boys in Christmas sweaters? They've stripped the thing down to its bare wood. Right, stacks and stacks of cheese pizzas coming to the door.
Yeah,
that's the only way you can distract them. They get quiet when it's pizza time.
Exactly.
Episode, what was this? 224, where you regaled us with the tales of going to see Monster Jam, the monster truck, the recital competition.
The monster truck recital.
I don't know what things are and are not recitals, but we called this episode When the Dirt Comes to Your Town. And imagine that this was also a plague of its own. Imagine, if you will,
We might have a similar idea.
Your mother comes to you. She asks you, Kyle, board up the windows, lock the doors, bring in the dogs. The dirt's coming to town, Kyle. Oh, the dirt's coming. You barricade yourselves inside. You've got big jugs of water and non-perishable canned goods to eat. And you peer through the boards. Right. You peer through the boards you have nailed over your windows. And out there, the dirt, it's monster trucks. They've somehow overnight transformed your whole town into a monster truck rally. That's the word. It's not recital. It's a rally. Everything is dirt. Where your neighbors' houses were, dirt, piles. They've got mountains, they've got ledges, they've got ramps, they got jumps. They got everything they need for their stunts. The monster trucks will run wild. For one night of the year, they do this. When the moon is full, the monster trucks will roam. They will drive. You just got to stay inside. Ride it out.
I think this is the first year that you and I have come up with the exact same idea. As my, let's see, where is this? As my fourth story, I was like, yeah. What if it's like The Mist, where just like one night,
exactly,
right? Where there's just this wandering dirt cloud, and people think that there's monsters inside it or something because they hear this wild growling, but it's evil monster truck drivers, and they invade your town. Everything is covered in dirt. But I took it one step further. What if their cars run on humans instead of gasoline?
They just shove them in there, shove them in the gas
That's
tank.
why you don't want to go out when the dirt comes to your town.
Right. You know the Stephen King story Maximum Overdrive.
Heard the name.
Which is about like a lunar eclipse or a solar flare or whatever, but it makes all these machines turn sentient.
Doesn't remember making because he was all super
It's the only film he has ever directed. The only time he has adapted his own work, and it was a pure cocaine haze. But I want him to maximum overdrive his other books. Carrie, what if a shy 16-year-old girl teased by her classmates goes to prom and they dump blood on her and then she becomes a monster truck? What if you and your family went to be the winter caretakers of a hotel in the mountains?
But it's to monster trucks.
Wendy pulls the paper out of Jack's typewriter and it's just truck noises. That's all he's written. All he's written is vroom vroom for 6 weeks.
Turns out he got hired by Mazda to do those old Mazda commercials. Good Lord. Yeah, that one was just kind of irresistible with an episode title like When the Dirt Comes to Your Town, right?
We really do this year round.
It's a good one. It's a good one. Okay. So here's one of my, it was the start of an idea.
Okay.
Ones here. The idea behind this is, what if we took something very simple, very innocent, and it actually has a much not darker purpose, but like we don't even know that something darker is happening. Right? So on episode 218, the newest constellation, we took this thought of like, wait, do they still make new constellations?
Right.
And I think the answer was, yeah, they do, kind of. But what if every time you make a new constellation, you discover a new constellation, it wasn't actually there before, you just didn't, right? So we're constantly like adding stars, and then we just get more and more stars. But all we know is right, yeah. But all we know is that the stars just seem to be more and more abundant. The night sky seems to be filled up with more and more stars. What we don't know is that they're alien ships instead, and they're like their whole alien armada is surrounding our solar system here, and that's it. That's the see it. That was my like. It's the start of an idea. I don't know.
I want this to be the start of an academic drama where there's an astronomer who believes that they've discovered a new star. They write papers about it. They go on a book tour and everything. And then they find out that the star is really an alien spacecraft. And forget the whole alien invasion. What has happened to this astronomer's career now that the big discovery that they made their legacy on
is aliens,
has been taken down? It was not a star at all. And they're like, you dumbass, you didn't even know that wasn't a star.
It was alive, you idiot. But yeah, like there's something to me that's just kind of creepy about those just a bunch of ships just kind of showing up and
just hovering there.
Yeah, just
monitoring.
They don't do a thing, and they just sit there, and it's just like, what is happening?
There is nothing scarier than something just standing around,
right? Just sitting there
when
staring
it should
at
be
you.
Moving. Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh man, I accidentally skipped one on accident. I'll go back to that one next time.
Are these in a narrative order?
I did write them down in episode order.
Oh, okay.
Here.
Very nice. My next kernel of an idea comes from episode 230. Hello, Pocky Time. This was our taste test of various sweet Pocky and its cousin, the savory Pretz snack.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the Pretz was corn flavored. And we were both wowed by how much, yeah, this is probably made out of corn, but boy, this really, truly tastes so much like corn. There's like a real concentrated corn flavor here. So what I wrote in the episode description was, we're startled by corn. Like, what if... At first I thought, what if corn was out to get you? Or not out to get you, just always there, always present. But then I thought, what if it's not...
Corn the
food. What a dog may be wrapped in at a fair. But then I thought, no, forget it. The corn's doing normal things. This is your problem. You just can't remember corn. You have a real short-term memory for corn.
You've just
every time you see it,
existence of corn.
Every time you see it, it's like you're seeing it for the first time and you're really startled. It's like every time you go to sleep, you wake up the next day, your memory resets and you don't know what corn is. So you're like on a road trip, long cross-country road trip. You drive by these stalks of corn. You freak out. You're like, what are these things? There's so many of them. They're so tall. What's this yellow stuff coming out of them? And whoever your friends are who you're on the road trip with, they explain it. They're like, don't worry. The corn's safe. Corn fine. And then you doze off in the car and then you wake up again and you're screaming. You're screaming at another cornfield just over and over again for the whole road trip. Like, Doug, we told you. We told you what the corn is. You get lost in a cornfield. Your memory keeps resetting while you're in there. You can never find your way out. You're trapped in an eternal kernel of a corn maze.
An eternal corn maze. There has to be a like a slower moment in a story like that where you're then trying to understand like every reference to the word corn, and you're like, so wait, they can have children? Explain this to me. Children of the
With
corn?
whom?
What? That's good. That's interesting though. That you would just like, your mind would keep resetting on some
I'm
innocuous
corn blind.
thing.
You hand somebody a little card, a medical card that says, I'm corn blind. This is what this means. You meet somebody else who's like corn blind. I'm zucchini blind. I don't know what a zucchini is, but my doctor said I am zucchini blind.
Oh man. For my next story, I am going back a couple episodes to episode 215, entitled The Gonch. We were talking about Goncherov, right? That like fake movie that doesn't really exist. But what if it does exist?
Finest work.
Right, yeah. Especially just after we saw Killers of the Flower Moon. But yeah, what if this film does really exist? And the idea is that people want to, or like, again, shady government organization wants to convince you that it's not real, because if you watch it, similar to looking in a mirror with the lights out and saying Bloody Mary 3 times, really does summon the Gonch. And it's some...
our greatest criminal.
Monster.
So he truly was this mob boss. He was one of the greatest criminals. And when he was caught, they imprisoned him in memory. They're like, we will make everybody forget you. This movie that was made about your crimes, we will erase it. It is wiped from the face of the earth. It is lost media. But if you find it again, you have resurrected Goncherov. He arrives from whatever void he was in. You watched my movie.
Return.
I live now. It's like the movie Coco. I'm only alive if someone remembers me. But I'm alive to do crimes.
The Gonch will haunt you. Will encourage you to do crimes.
Gonch will haunt.
So yeah, that was my my next one. I like these just like shorter ideas. Like, what if it's this one thing that's just twisted somehow, right?
Not, yeah. It's not a whole story. It is just a vine of horror.
Yeah, another great
it's only
joke.
That long.
But
So speaking of saying something into a mirror, you hear this sort of urban legend, this challenge from a friend. If you go into your bathroom and you turn the lights off and you face the mirror and you say, Obmuloc 10 times, Obmuloc, 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 you're going to summon something. You're in for a challenge. You're like, what is it? What am I going to summon? Is it a cool spooky ghost? You say Obmuloc 10 times. And you turn around and it is a 20-year-old boy in a rumpled beige trench coat and a tie. And you're like, oh, what are you dressed as? Are you Castiel from Supernatural? And the kid's like, no, I'm Columbo. You've summoned me. Saying Columbo backwards in a mirror 10 times the number of seasons Columbo had summoned me, the Columbo kid. I'm here to tell you facts about Columbo. Did you know Columbo first aired in 1968? Did you know Columbo's favorite food is chili? Did you know Columbo had a brief spinoff called Mrs. Columbo? And now you're cursed. And you try and ask the kid about things his kids his own age should be into, like, do you like Minecraft? And he's like, no, I'm only into Columbo. People tried to talk to me about other stuff. I'm like, what?
It does the thing that all the Telltale video games will do, where it's like Columbo will remember that. Like when you do stuff, like Columbo didn't like that.
He keeps talking about Columbo as if he's real. Like, if you do a good deed, Columbo will reward you in the next life.
Columbo will reward that. Just like the whole thing is him just like menacingly saying the stuff like Columbo's favorite food is chili.
Right.
He's and then, like,
a disciple of Columbo
back into the darkness.
And he's like, I will bring my brethren and sister in with me. And it's all like people in their 60s who were alive when Columbo was popular on TV. He's the one kid. And you're like, real? How'd you get into Columbo? You weren't watching like One Tree Hill or something? He's like, this is your punishment for not respecting the skilled How Catchem crime stories of Columbo.
Great stuff. That's awesome. I like that one a lot. That one's good. I tried to think of one for our like older grizzled detective paired with like the young hotshot switch, where it's like the young hotshot is now the like jaded one who doesn't want to be there, and the
you
old
have
guy
a
is just so
55-year-old. You have a 55-year-old hotshot and an extremely jaded 25-year-old.
Right. Yeah.
This is the crime story we're dying to see.
Okay, from episode 225, Perry Mason, The Lie. What if someone that you thought was real never was? What if, for example, like I've never met Barack Obama, never been in the same room with him. But what if everything was Truman showed around me to only fix that one detail? Not my whole life, not my job, not the whole thing. The whole thing's not a movie or anything like that. But the world is convincing me that a person I believe is real is not. And I'm slowly starting to like sense that something is off here. Something is odd here. Yeah, you know what? I haven't been in the same room as Barack Obama. That's weird.
How can he exist?
Why haven't I? Right, and then
is
you
Michelle
start, like,
real? How about the kids? Right, you start asking all these questions.
Exactly, and you start like rethinking old conversations that you've had, like all that stuff, like present day conversations, like now have this weird twist at them that you have to stop and be like, wait. Why did you say it that way, though? Like, what is really going on here? Something is off. And yeah, the whole, just like, it doesn't even have to be Barack Obama. Just someone in your life does not exist. It's
funnier if it's like a smaller public figure.
Right.
Like... Everybody's trying to convince you that Liev Schreiber is real. He isn't. There is no Liev Schreiber. There is an actor who's been hired to play him as a prank on you.
Yeah, exactly. I just like it, as much as The Truman Show is not a horror movie, it can be horrific.
Not traditionally,
to think
no.
About though, right? That this whole your whole existence has been a fake, right? And everything you know is not what you think it is. But also, it's kind of scary to me, that same idea, but on a smaller scale. Just like, what if one detail about your life is just not real? And like everyone is in on this except you.
Right. Everyone, not just like your dad playing a joke.
Right. Yeah. No.
There are resources into this. There are dozens of people. You're being
any
the
quote
gamed.
Unquote random person you meet to be like, wait, Barack Obama is real. Liev Schreiber is real, right? And they're just like, yes. What are you talking about? You saw him in that X-Men movie, right? Come on, dude. Like, what's that? Amazon show he's in? Or something like that. I don't know. He's in.
Is he Ray Donovan?
Right?
Who's Ray Donovan?
Yeah. Is Ray real? I bet you Ray's real, but Liev's not.
This is the ultimate prank.
Right? Like I don't know what it was that convinced me that Perry Mason was a real person.
Columbo was real. And he made up Peter Falk.
Right?
Columbo, the detective, was like, to really make this real, I have to develop a whole acting career. I'm going to play the kid's grandpa on The Princess Bride.
Absolutely. I just think it'd be interesting to do that in some like small, like innocuous detail like that.
What if this happens the other way around, where you think, I'm going to play a prank. I'm going to give my cousin a book of those collectible state quarters where I've filled in some of them, but I've left a lot of them undone. So it's like you get the gift of looking at state quarters, but there's some left for you to find. What an activity. But you're like, I want to play a prank on them. And you carve a big hole into this like little cardboard booklet you'd get.
Okay.
Then you write 51st state. So there's all these quarters you can collect for the 50 states. And then there's one hole the size of a pog for some mysterious fifth state, like North Pogulina or whatever. South Pogcoda.
Sequel to the hit Adam Sandler movie 51st Dates. It's 51st State.
And whoever you give this to becomes obsessed. And clearly you're like, that's not even quarter size. There is no 51st state.
Oh,
there's a pog that fits in there. I keep showing him pogs so that he'll get the joke. No, an Alf pog is not a collectible state quarter. This comes from, by the way, what's the episode where we talked about this? This is in episode 227, the California Drive Around, convincing somebody a pog is a state quarter. What if you meant this as a prank, but whoever you did this to took it so seriously? They're like, there's a conspiracy. There's a 51st state out there. This 51st state is so powerful. That's why it gets big quarter. The government minted it as like and then they're like, no, it must never be seen. Hide it all. And I've got this one like collectible state quarter booklet that escaped. Right. And they go on a whole like pillage of government records.
What if the planning goes so far? Like I've been planning this for years, like decades of my life. I like John Hater, the whole thing.
Yes.
So it looks like I'm sometime to you can go back to old internet archives and find posts about this thing on the Wayback Machine, but it's actually just me and accounts that I've made and did all of that stuff. Like I've been preparing this for like 2 decades just to convince this one person that there is this super rare quarter out there that would fit.
I want this to be, if not literally the third National Treasure movie, another movie starring Nicolas Cage, obviously playing off of the first 2 National Treasure movies, where somebody's doing a prank on him and he takes it so seriously. He goes down this absolute rabbit hole, kidnaps the president, trying to find the 51st state quarter.
I know you're hiding it. Show it to me. Good stuff. Good stuff. I like that one. Okay. Before we continue, I think we should take a quick break for some housekeeping. And when we come back, we'll get to the second half of our stories here. So we will be right back. Here at the Whatnauts, we make multiple different shows, and a lot of hard work goes into making them, so we would love it if you check them all out. If you enjoy our shows, patreon.com/thewhatnauts is the best place to show your support. For just $1 a month, you can get early access to episodes, and at our $3 tier, a Patreon-exclusive podcast, The Pilots Club. You can even get a shout-out and thank you on most of our shows at the $5 tier. And if you're one of our patrons already, thank you so much. It means the world to us. You can find out more information on our website, thewhatnauts.com, as well as your favorite podcasting platform of choice. When you type in the Whatnauts, all of our shows will pop up right there. Just don't forget to give us a nice rating and review if you like the shows. You can also find us on YouTube and Twitch for video versions of the shows, trailer reactions, and live streams. And lastly, we have merch. If you want to grab yourself a shirt or a hoodie or a mug or something else, head over to thewhatnauts.com/store to pick up some merch today. All right, we are back. Once again, a big shout out to all of our Patreon supporters. We love you a lot. We
thank you.
It means a ton. Over on the $3 tier, you guys can get access to the Pilots Club, our Patreon exclusive podcast. And this month we got to cover The Amazing Screw-On Head, which is a great little pilot episode that did not make it to a full show. It was on a sci-fi channel. It was an animated cartoon styled after Mike Mignola's artwork, based on a comic that he did. Just like an odd little thing that exists out there, and we had a blast talking about that. However, this
it's
next
a fun
month,
one.
Absolutely. This next month, however, we are going to be talking about Manifest, the pilot of Manifest. This is a show that came onto my radar when this first came out because of my interest in shows like Lost. I'm just like, they got on a plane and some weird mysterious thing happened. What happened to this plane? And I was like, oh, okay, I should maybe watch that one day. And I had not gotten around to it. And so I was hoping that by bringing it to the Pilots Club and talking about the pilot would then inspire me to watch the rest of the show. So that is what we will do for this next month here, is talk about the pilot episode of Manifest. So be on the lookout for all of that. Right here on the Captain's Log this past week, I started watching Our Flag Means Death Season 2. Melissa, you went to go see Beetlejuice, the stage musical, which sounded like
Spooky.
It was a blast.
You gotta find it.
Yeah, we also talked about some urban legends in our area. I think the last time we talked about them, I was still in Virginia, so I got to learn about some of the stuff that's here in Oklahoma. Urban legends. We also found out that it was the week that Tony Stark died in the MCU, and we looked up other like fictional history, like this day in fictional history stuff. So we had a blast over on the Captain's Log this past week.
I'd love to know what the most busy day in fictional history is. Like, too many writers have decided like May 21st is the day when a thing happens.
Right. That'd be interesting. Be interesting to see. I wonder if we could do a study of that in like all the things that we have like read or watched, just like what dates everything happened on.
Right. Sort by month.
Interesting. Yeah. But yeah, over on the review show, it has been spooky month. All month we've been covering all sorts of different horror comics and movies and TV shows. And this past week we talked about Mindhunter Season 1, which might not be on most people's lists of like, oh, it's a horror show, you should watch it. But it is absolutely a horrific psychological thriller that has some very spooky vibes.
Right. It's moody and atmospheric enough to make it to the coveted October spot. Like getting into the baseball playoffs.
Absolutely. So go check that out. Mindhunter Season 1 was a blast to talk about. Over on the Reactor Core, we are reacting to Loki Season 2. We already have an episode out for episodes 1 and 2. And we are about to record our reaction to episodes 3 and 4. I guess by the time this goes out to the public, that will already be up on everyone's feed, so keep an eye out for that. Last but not least, we are at the end of this month here, on November 1st, we are switching our RSS feeds over to the new one. We are transitioning from an old hosting service to a new one. So just be aware of that in case there's any kind of shenanigans with the RSS feed. You might need to unsubscribe and then resubscribe. Hopefully you won't have to. I don't think you will, but just in case, keep an eye out on that. So there you go. That is all the housekeeping for right now. So, Melissa, how many stories do you have left on your stuff? I don't know how many.
Two good ones and other just like assorted hooks.
Okay. Well, let me do two of them then. I'll do two back to back here. So episode 231, we had just came off of seeing the Super Mario Bros. Movie, and we entitled the episode Mario Human Hands. And I just I feel like that is almost beat for beat the Twilight Zone episode where they're like, hey, you were in a real bad car accident. Your face is like all screwed up. We tried to do the best we can. And she's in these like full like facial bandages. She can't see her face. And she's just like, my life is ruined. My life is over. I'm going to be so ugly. And then at the end of the episode, they take off the bandages and she is just gorgeous. Like, just like the most absolute normal looking, beautiful woman you've ever seen. And then you finally see the doctor's face and they're all these like pig ape face looking things. And they're just sitting there like, we're so sorry. Like we did the best we could.
You're gonna have to live in an institution. You're too hideous. We can't let the public see you.
Exactly. And I feel like this is what happened to Mario. He wakes up in a hospital, right? And it's just like, hey, Mario, you were in a real bad plumbing accident. You're never gonna be a plumber again. Your hands have been
like
crushed.
Dr. Strange, he can't be a surgeon anymore with his hands. Mario can't be a plumber anymore with his hands.
You like it, right? It's like the Doctor Strange thing. Like your hands are just wrecked. Like you cannot use them at all. But he has these like huge big white gloves on them, and so he's like, man, I'm not allowed to take these off until like next month. And so he like that next month comes and he finally takes them off, and he just has regular human hands. And it's weird and it's off-putting, and he's like think what you will. It could be like the old N64 Mario. It could be like a 3D rendition of Mario's CGI. It could be old pixelated Mario. Who knows? But he just has regular human hands. Just, with fingers that can like grip things.
Just an N64 Mario with FMV hands.
Right. Horrifying. Seriously though, go watch the Super Mario Bros. Movie and look at their hands. They're weird. They're so lifelike. They're so weird. I don't like it. It's this uncanny valley. So
normally the uncanny valley is when something doesn't look real enough. For this, it's like face good, hands good. Why hands attached to same body as face? What that?
Like uncanny valley is like the uncertainty. Like, is this real? Is it fake? It could go either way. Like this robot's just a little too lifelike. That's weird. Or like that human's just a little too robotic in his actions, right? Like, I don't know. But yeah, he just has these functioning hands with fingers and everything.
Speaking of video games, this year, for the first time in a while, this used to be a recurring bit on previous Captain's Logs and then on crossplay while you were doing it. You would have me, somebody who knows zilch about video games. I know Mario and Luigi's names, they're brothers, and they've got their initials on their hats. You'd have me come on and blindly guess. You'd say it would be like I was the Magic 8-Ball for E3 and other major gaming events. You just throw a question at me like, Melissa, will Bethesda announce a new game releasing this fall? And I just have to say, seems likely, or no, or maybe, yes. And this
Check
year,
again later.
This year, for the first time, after using this metaphor, I got an actual Magic 8-Ball.
You did.
And for all of these questions you gave me, I guessed, and then I shook the Magic 8-Ball and I told you what it said. And we're like, we're going to see who does better. And thankfully, by the end of it, I did come out on top. I did guess better than the Magic 8-Ball, maybe only because it has like 12 things it can say. But What if I didn't?
At the end of the day, we really only need you to say yes or no.
Right. Sometimes the answer is Q4, or yes, Captain Falcon will be in that. What if I didn't beat the Magic 8 Ball? What if it beat me? And it was right. It was astoundingly 100% right. Yeah. And I came to consult it for other questions in my life, and it was always correct. What if I became jealous of the Magic 8 Ball? Like, I want that power. Why can't I do that? So I smash the Magic 8 Ball, and I take that like dodecahedron floating inside the blue water. I chug the blue water and I swallow the answer cube. It's in me now. It rests. It's like I feel it. It's like in my chest. And now I have its powers. I behave the way a Magic 8 Ball behaves.
Someone can shake you up.
Right. When you ask me a question, I go into like a seizure state. And then I come out and you can see the answer in my eyes. Like my eyes are now like little Magic 8 Balls. But this means I can never lie. You can always see the answer right there in my eyes. And you know that's always the truth.
That's weird. That's wild. Why? I don't like... I was thinking somehow it would like be in your mouth, like in the back of your throat. There, but like that's also equally as disturbing.
You asked me a question and I like push out my tongue like a cuckoo clock and it's there on my tongue like
right? Yeah.
And you're like, oh,
that's weird.
Seems likely.
That's weird.
I don't know. Is it Mattel that owns the Magic 8 Ball? And they were talking about how Barbie was such a hit. Are there other really interesting, like creative, auteur-driven movies that can use one of our toys as a launching pad? This has got to be the Magic 8 Ball movie. I want the Magic 8 Ball movie to feel like Talk to Me.
There you go. All right. So for my next one, from episode 244 of the Captain's Log, entitled Human in a Can, Melissa, you asked me the question, if Mountain Dew was a person, would you meet him? I take that one step further and I say, would you drink him? Because you are. What if you find out that Mountain Dew is, whether it's one person or it's like a whole horde of people, that somehow like their blood is being siphoned out, or some combination of bodily fluids or something is being mixed to create Mountain Dew, and that's actually what Mountain Dew is. And every time I've been here on the podcast drinking a Mountain Dew secretly, it's someone that I've
You're
been
a Dew
drinking.
Vampire.
I sure am.
This is the new The Lost Boys,
right?
Vampires with Mountain Dew energy.
So yeah, that one was that was an interesting one. I love the like 3-sentence short story. If Mountain Dew, would you meet Mountain Dew if they were a person? Would you drink them? Well, you are.
There's one. This is such a haunting phrase on its own from one of our episode descriptions, and I tried so much to crack it into a whole story. This is not my final thing. I just feel like I have to mention this.
Go for it.
The beginning of the episode description for 222 Rookie Senior says, this is our understanding of football. No one is going to catch on fire while they play it. Because this is when you were getting into Formula One and you were talking about all the car crashes and all the fires, and it was a February episode, so we're right around Super Bowl. And I'm like, I don't know anything about football, but I do know that there's no crashes or fires. But what if there were?
It just started spontaneously.
This is the question.
Combusting.
Right, like no, when two players collide against each other, fire.
Just like from the top of their head, or like where is this coming out? Like bottom of their feet, out of their hands?
From the impact point, they just behave like cars. If like a guy tackles another guy, it behaves like a car wreck. They roll and roll. There is a fire. What if this started happening in sports? And then you only had to have contactless sports like golf.
Interesting.
And then some real daredevils out there with a death wish made contact golf. Contact tennis.
That is a terrifying story. More golf.
Contact golf.
I
wish I could make a whole thing out of that.
Like, I would be more into golf if they did more stuff like that. Like if there was crowd had those like thunder sticks and could like make a bunch of noise and be like, "Hey, you suck! Get out of here! You call that a hole in one? I'll show you a hole in one."
Like golf, you have to be quiet during golf, but it's never as exciting as the movie A Quiet Place. Maybe it should be. Maybe the stakes should be that high.
I just want like people yelling and screaming and making noise. I want the hot dog guy out there being like, "Hot dogs, get your hot dogs!" Right? I want like mascots out there on the green. Yeah.
I want there to be fire.
A giant windmill in the thing, and it actually has to go through there. Just giant.
No, that's mini golf. No, we're not mini golfing regular golf. We're taking regular golf.
Well, they should. That's my point. That's what I'm saying.
We add fire to every round. You have to shoot the ball through a ring of fire. Instead of a water trap, there's a fire trap.
You have to go stand in the fire if you're ball. Goes in there. God, that'd be awful. Interesting. Okay, let's see. What is my next one here? Human in a can. Okay, from episode 246, entitled Gum. Melissa, we've brought up the idea that like watching cartoons when we were younger, we always thought that that like quicksand would be a bigger problem, right? Or just like we would at least come across it maybe once in our adult life.
I've never seen quicksand.
Right? Well, I
imagine it just looks like regular sand.
I've seen tons of movies and TV shows where they always have some janitor like cleaning gum off the bottom of seats or desks, or, you know, they send some kid to detention and they have him do all of that stuff, right? Him or her. And they like, I don't think I've seen that in real life. And so what if every piece of gum that you stick up under a desk or under a chair at night is not being cleaned up by a janitor, but instead is slowly coming together and forming one giant blob, one giant wad of gum, all-consuming gum of just grossness and stickiness. Like,
oh my gosh,
the blob or something like that, but it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger and consuming all gum. That would suck.
That's a full Goosebumps. I think that's what like Monster Blood or something does that.
Absolutely.
I tried Googling quicksand and it really doesn't look very exciting.
It's pretty slow. I have one more that I can do. Do you have I
have a full one and I wish this was something.
Can I save mine for the end? Because my last one is like genuinely kind of terrifying.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
All right, way to call your shot there. In episode 237, The Last Propane Bender.
Great name.
We wrote, "We don't know what beverages are and aren't cocktails. All we know is that we aren't cocktails. Again, this is me saying I don't know much, but I do know this.
Well,
you don't catch on fire?
Dew apparently is, right? It is someone. He is Mountain Dew. He is a cocktail now.
He's Mountain Doug. Like, I still am not clear on what is the minimum number of things you need to have before it makes a cocktail. Is 2 things must be a cocktail: orange juice and vodka. That's a screwdriver. It has a name. It's a cocktail. I'm
Sure,
I just know I'm not one. You asked me to describe myself, Melissa, and I'm like, well, I'm not a cocktail. I know that much. What if you were?
God, why does nobody understand that? I'm grapes.
Not a cocktail. Wine. You can put wine in a cocktail, but wine by itself, not a cocktail.
Yeah.
What if you were? What if you were at a bar and they poured you these ingredients and you drank it and you're like, that tastes like me? Like, not like this tastes like nothing, or like this tastes like plain water or whatever. You're like, that tastes like my own mouth. The taste of the cocktail is an extension of my own mouth. I feel like the cocktail is me. It has replicated my body chemistry. You must never share this recipe with anyone. You must put this recipe away in a vault. Otherwise, somebody could drink me. And I don't know what the ramifications are of that, but I don't want it happening. That ekes me out.
I feel like that's a Junji Ito style story, right? Where the guy is like, he think like, this hole was meant for me. It's like this cocktail is me. It tastes like me. I can't let anyone have this at all. And he like,
I'd love to see
goes
this
crazy, goes obsessed.
I'd love to see this start as something that looks like it's Night at the Roxbury or Entourage or whatever. You just have some guys go out to a bar. You're watching a short film on Netflix and you're like, or an episode of Black Mirror or Cabinet of Curiosities or whatever. You're like, I don't know what this is. And then suddenly a guy drinks a cocktail and he's like, oh no, dude, that's me. That drank me. He pours it in a plant, throws the plant off the balcony. They're like, we can never go back here. We got to burn this place down, bro. That's me. He's making me in there.
Curse like has to hunt down like who made this recipe, like
what liqueur is this?
Why was I the chosen one?
Why does Malort taste like me when you mix it with this other stuff?
Right. Do you have? I think you said you had something else that you want to be something.
You have quite an interesting series of home obstacles. There's the fact that no like DoorDash driver can find your house. They keep thinking you're Luigi's Pizza, and they go to Luigi's Pizza and they're like, is this you? And you're like, no, go around the block. You've had things like the loud appliance and the knob that keeps falling down and the plumbers on the roof and like the big hole in your backyard. Like, what is this swirl around your living situation? I've been to your home. It is lovely, but it is funny that you have all these stories about it.
Right.
And you found that there wasn't even a Luigi. Like the guy who owns it, like his name isn't Luigi. There's no true Luigi you can find. And I think you ran into this in like another story.
The exact same thing. It was a Luigi's Pizza in a comic in the Human Target by Tom King, and I forget who did the artwork. I don't remember if it was Mitch Gerards or something else, someone like that. But yeah, it was in that, and Luigi's Pizza, the guy that owned it in that, his name isn't even Luigi, and I found it like the same week that we happened to learn that like this guy Luigi is also not a Luigi.
And then I also thought of your stories about all the obstacles in getting your driver's license. And one of them was that your parents lost your birth certificate.
Yeah.
And they're like, we've got it somewhere. We don't know did they ever locate it? Do you have a copy of it?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I exist.
All right, good.
Maybe it not in your story.
It says Kyle Bradley Springer on it, I'm sure. But what if it didn't? This,
Right.
this is every one of McRib's. This is every one of McRib Sterling's stories. He smokes the fry and he looks at the camera and he's like, "But what if you were? What if you weren't? Imagine." Right.
Like, to be honest, I don't think I've really looked at it enough to know if the thing that my parents gave me when they found it again actually did have my name on it.
What if you look again and it says your birth name is Luigi, born in Luigi's Pizza? It's a Shining thing. You've been there all along. You've always been the Luigi. You're like, this is why I've got all this house stuff. I'm not supposed to be here. This is the DoorDash drivers. They're an omen. I should not be found here. I should be found at the Luigi's Pizza. That's my pizza. I am rightfully supposed to inherit it. I'm the eternal Luigi.
That's my hole. I fit in this hole. It's made for me.
You say this as you were putting on the white chef's hat and coat, tying the pizza box red bandana around your neck, holding up the box.
God, that's so dumb. That's good. I like that one a lot. That one's great. Okay. I have one that I think is genuinely terrifying.
Woohoo!
Here. This is a recent one. We kind of mentioned this, but I don't think we mentioned this thing exactly. So a couple weeks ago, on episode 255, Skeleton Grew. What if your skin stops growing, but your skeleton does not?
No.
It starts growing inside you and starts poking out of your skin, and your skin starts ripping around it, and you shed your skin somehow.
A snake.
Yeah. But not in now I just have new skin underneath and it's so clear and maybe it's Maybelline, right? But no, your skin is ripping off of you because the skeleton inside you does not stop growing. I think that's terrifying.
That is scary.
That
you
just
lose
makes me feel weird.
You lose your senses, your eyeballs don't fit in your sockets anymore. Your tongue doesn't fit in your jaw. It all just sort of falls. It slips through like you have sand in your hand.
Falls out of your mouth one day, right? Yeah, that'd be horrifying. And what bits of you would poke through first? Would it be fingers? To then when you have the fingerless gloves and you can
oh my gosh,
hold the skin back and it's just bones, right?
Just bones.
Something like that. Or would your elbows stick out? Would your shoulder blades be the first to pop through your knees or something like that? That'd be weird. I don't like that. It's gross, horrifying, terrifying.
This is what you get for going to the Bone Museum and put these bones in your head. All these bone ideas.
Melissa, I already have bones in my head, okay? You do too. So yeah, that is my last story for the night. I think that would make a great anime story, kind of Parasite or Attack on Titan thing, right? Just some creepy, bones scary, horror. Yeah, bones.
David Cronenberg's Bones Too Big.
Indeed. There we go. It's fun. I get a blast with this. Our Halloween episode is always a blast to do. Look back at old stories and twist them into
They said this is our
monsters.
Fifth one. Now I have a question for you.
Okay.
This year we established the character of Bob Chili. owner and operator and founder of Chili's. Now, when I picture Bob Chili, I'm picturing that guy. We saw him in True Detective earlier this year, and he played Shia LaBeouf's dad in the Transformers movies.
Okay,
that guy.
Yeah.
You can picture him.
Vaguely,
maybe a little short, little round, little balding. I'm picturing that guy. His name's Kevin or something. I should have looked his name up. He's a great actor. But like him, and he's just wearing like a white shirt and like black slacks and like black restaurant shoes and a tie with chili peppers on it. And he comes up to your table while you're eating your chocolate lava crunch cake. And he's like, "Hi, I'm Bob Chili." I don't remember what else we said he does, but he's Bob Chili. What do you think his relationship is to McRib Sterling, this McDonald's ghoul?
Ooh,
are they rivals, lovers?
Yeah, I was thinking, like, is this like a Reed Richards Dr. Doom scenario where like they were college roommates? One of them is evil.
Definitely. McRib Sterling, we've already established that he just goes around in a mix suit. So he's clearly the Dr. Doom of the two of them.
Bob Chili, the normal family man who owns and operates a chain restaurant. And if it wasn't for McRib Sterling, I would have been there.
McRib Sterling's like, if it wasn't for Bob Chili, it could have had a real home. Now I just live in a white void smoking French fries, telling people tales of misfortune.
You think I want to be in the McMex suit? No, Bob Chili put me there. My life depends on it.
He burned me. The chocolate lava crunch cake. To lava.
I think that is a great new addition to our McRib Sterling lore.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff. Oh man, this has been a blast. My head is already hurting from laughing and smiling too much. You know when your head like gets tight like in the back there because you've been smiling, laughing too much? That's what's happening to me right now. These episodes are always great. How did that fry taste, by the way? You just stuck that in your mouth. Is that the same one you've had this whole
I
episode?
saved a couple to smoke with. It's old fry. You remember the taste from when you were a kid? Old fry?
Sure, yeah.
It's not that old. I had dinner like 2 hours ago. They're not disastrous.
One thing I was thinking about putting on my not putting on, but having as a prop with my costume was just a single hot dog. To like buy a pack of hot dogs, and like you see me, I talk with my hands a lot, right? So like just be sitting here and like you maybe can't see my hands, but then all of a sudden I like move my hand up and you just see me with a hot dog. Just
do this in a job interview.
Waving it around, yeah. I don't know, man. It's one of those days, you know.
You hold the hot dog between two fingers like it is a cigarette. Which there's no other thing you hold in that pose. But maybe we should start just holding a hot dog there.
Oh, man. Yep, this was good. This was fun. But we will wrap things up right there. Of course, we will be back next week for more Captain's Log action.
Sure
Melissa,
will.
You and I this week over on the review show will also be in costume over on that. So if you want to see us in another costume, I have a completely different costume.
I'm trying to get one together. Show. I've had zero luck at any of the thrift stores I hit up. I'm like, this should be a simple item. Why don't you have it?
Right. Yeah. But we will be in costumes based on something we've talked about on the review show. So be on the lookout for all of that. We have some fun here. It's good. It's fun. Melissa, where can the people find you on the interwebs?
I have a letterbox under Wilkywit, WILKYWIT. It is still in the making. I'm still filling it out. But you can find me there.
There you go. I heard Martin Scorsese joined.
A friend texted me.
Letterbox, yeah.
And I'm like, great, I'm just slightly more ahead of the times than this old man. Just been on it a couple weeks.
Yeah. If you guys want to follow me, I'm at Yo Kyle Springer on Twitter. And if you'd like to stay up to date with all of the stuff that we do here at the Whatnauts, we are at the Whatnauts on most social media places. So please go like, share, and subscribe. You guys know the deal with that. If you're watching this on YouTube, please go check out one of our other videos right over there on that side. That would help us out a ton. Yeah, this has been number 257 of the Whatnauts Captain's Log. Happy Halloween. We will see you all next time.
Happy Halloween. Bye.